So, well, it's saying this in public is probably not a good idea. But I my I used to smoke marijuana, and my marijuana dealers lived on a farm next to me in Arkansas, and they had been in the Peace Corps. They had lots of okay. And so when I told them that I was going to go to London, and then we were going to go to Greece, and they said, "Is that all?" I said, "Well, yeah." And they said, "Wait a minute." And the guy, I forget his name anyway, he took out this map of the world and he laid it on the floor, and here's the US and then here's Greece. And he said, "We have a friend that lives in Sri Lanka," and he handed me a letter from the guy. He lives he left it in Jakarta. He lives in Jakarta, and he had a letter from him. "Read this," he said. And the guy says, "Oh, it's such a beautiful day here. I just had tea. I'm on my way to a hike." And I went, "Jakarta really exists? Like, it really exists?" And they said, "Yes." They said, in those days, you can take a bus from London all the way across the continent, and you can end up in India on a bus. And they said, "You should meet us in Kabul, Afghanistan." And I went, "Well, I'm going to go to Greece first. We'll see." So I did. I went to Greece with my girlfriend. Well, actually, we went to London first. And I had like a former sister-in-law live there. And she arranged a goodbye party for my girlfriend and I, who were going to go on this big journey to Greece. And it was at some kind of weird Italian leftover place. And at one point, she said, "Well, go downstairs. There's a guy that wants to talk to you." And Linda and I sort of looked at each other and went, "Okay." So we go out down there, and he's in this storeroom, and there are all these chairs all over and everything. But there's one table, and he's sitting at the table, and he said, "Sit down, ladies." And we're going, "Okay, you okay?" He said, "I hear you're going on a trip." And we go, "Yeah." He said, "Where are you going?" And "Well, we're going to Greece." And he said, "Okay, well, I have some advice for you." He said, "Be like a butterfly." And, we went, "What's that? What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, do you know what a butterfly does?" And we're going, "No." He said, "A butterfly goes from flower to flower getting nectar. And when it's at a flower, if it feels any strange breeze or sees a shadow, it flies off right away because it knows there's another flower just down the road." And that is the philosophy that kept me alive through many situations. In fact, there were times, I must admit, where the butterfly's going, "Ah!" And I went, "Thank you very much, but I'm going to go anyway." And I found out it was a great warning because I was ready. But that was like a theme of my whole trip, is be like a butterfly. The other thing that I discovered is that when I got to Greece, is that I sort of felt really safe, and I felt good traveling, and I'd read some books, and I knew that pretty much most of the countries like I go to get to India, say, would be Turkey and Iran and Afghanistan. And in all those countries, I've been told, the women are well controlled. And so if I was a single white woman, I could probably easily find a traveling companions that would love to be with me like guys, so that I wouldn't be by myself. So I knew this, but I was pretty scared. So one day, Linda was on her way back to the U.S. I couldn't convince her to come with me if I was going to go anywhere. And this woman walked into our restaurant. We were eating breakfast. And she was so gorgeous. She was like about 6 foot tall. She was totally curvy, She was wearing this really tight top with, all this, and she had short shorts like this and legs forever. And she was so beautiful. And she walked over to our table and she said, in this accent like from New Zealand, she said, do any of you have any books to share? And we're going, who are you? And she said, well, my name is, I forget it. And we said, well, where are you from? Well, I'm from New Zealand. I came overland. You came overland from New Zealand? You didn't. I did. How'd you dress like that? Well, not exactly, but she said, I've been hitchhiking around Greece for 2 weeks and I haven't had any trouble. And I said, I want to go with you for 2 weeks. Would you take me on as an apprentice, please? Because I sort of have problems hitchhiking, and I wanted to learn how she did it. So for 2 weeks, I studied with her, quote unquote. We would spend, there was these books we'd go through. She showed me the maps, what restaurants she stayed in, all this stuff. And then I had to be tested. So I had to hitchhike from the Peloponnesus to Athens by myself. And I got, covered up. First guy was a tractor guy. He tried to give me $5 and he would not take me on his tractor unless I, for him for $5. Well, that's not going to work. So then the next guy, so there were 3 guys I went through. All of them were totally interested in taking me to bed. And I somehow managed to get back to Athens without this happening, but I decided that she could hitchhike, not me.